Hello, class, and welcome to Chapter 2. We will be covering network security threats. Here are a few of the topics that we will be covering. Network security involves protecting systems, networks, and data from unauthorized access or attacks. Hacking refers to the malicious or criminal intrusion into and manipulation of computers. Hackers can be misguided or criminal, often motivated by financial gain, social validation, or the thrill of the challenge. To protect against hackers, it is essential to think like them, anticipating potential attacks and strengthening defenses. Deterrents, such as enhancing security measures, making hacking attempts more time consuming and less attractive, ultimately protecting your network from intrusion. By understanding the mindset of a hacker, network defenders can develop proactive strategies to prevent breaches before they occur, making it harder for attackers to exploit vulnerabilities. Assets in network security refer to anything valuable that an organization needs to protect, such as data, hardware, software, and intellectual property. Hackers often target these assets, seeking easy targets that are not properly secured and offer quick monetary rewards or opportunities. Some hackers, however, prefer unique and challenging targets that test their skills. These expert hackers may be less interested in financial gain and more focused in providing their abilities and improving their techniques. Understanding the motivations and goals of hackers helps organizations prioritize their security efforts, protecting the most valuable and vulnerable assets from potential attacks. Here's a figure that shows a hacker's hierarchy of operational needs. Internal threats to network security often come from disgruntled employees who feel wronged by their organization. These individuals may attempt to embezzle, steal, or sabotage systems. Contract workers who may not share the same loyalty to the organization can also pose a significant threat if given the opportunity to act unethically. External threats come from criminals and terrorists seeking to exploit vulnerabilities for financial gain, disruption, or political motives. These attackers often have no physical access to the organization but use remote methods to breach defenses. Physical access, such as an on site employee, combined with logical access, such as user accounts and network privileges, can be parlayed into more significant breaches if not carefully monitored and controlled. The hacking process is typically divided into five phases: reconnaissance, scanning, enumeration, attack, and post attack activities. During reconnaissance, hackers gather information about their target, often using tools like Nmap for scanning networks and identifying vulnerabilities. In the enumeration phase, hackers further refine their attack strategy, identifying potential weaknesses that can be exploited. Once they have sufficient information, they move to the attack phase where they breach the network and gain access. After a successful attack, hackers often engage in post attack activities such as privilege escalation and removing evidence to cover their tracks. Understanding these phases is crucial for developing effective defenses against hacking attempts. Hardware failures, such as hard drive crashes, are among the most common causes of unexpected downtime in IT infrastructures. Organizations can mitigate these risks by implementing regular backups, using RAID configurations, and maintaining spare parts. Intentional electromagnetic interference is a physical threat that can cause or damage electronic equipment. This type of attack can target anything from cell phones to servers, disrupting communications and operations. Death, physical damage, and natural disasters also pose significant risk to IT infrastructures. Organizations should prepare for these threats by securing physical assets, implementing disaster recovery plans, and storing backups offsite. Here's a figure that shows the common hardware failures within an organization. Malicious code or malware refers to software designed to cause harm or disrupt systems. Common types of malware include viruses, which infect files, worms, which spread without human interaction, and Trojans, which disguise themselves as legitimate software to deliver harmful payloads. Hackers often deliver malware through phishing attempts, email attachments, or infected websites. Signature based detection methods are commonly used to identify known malware, but these methods may not be effective against new or advanced threats. Advanced persistent threats are particularly concerning as they remain hidden on a target machine until activated. They are highly targeted and can cause significant damage if not detected early. Rapid organizational growth can often lead to a lack of attention to network security, as resources are focused on profits and expansion. However, this short term focus can lead to long term instability and vulnerability, making network security a crucial investment. Organizations must balance growth with security by planning for infrastructure expansion and implementing security measures concurrently with growth. This approach ensures sustained growth and longevity while minimizing the risk of breaches and downtime. Predictable growth patterns allow for planned upgrades and improvements, reducing the likelihood of equipment failures and outages. By prioritizing security from the outset, organizations can protect their assets and ensure continued success. While wireless networks are more susceptible to remote attacks, they can be secured through robust encryption methods such as WPA3 and implementing strong access controls, such as requiring multi factor authentication for all users. Wired networks rely heavily on physical security measures. This includes securing physical access to network infrastructure, using locked server rooms, and employing network segmentation to isolate sensitive data from general access areas. Both types of networks benefit from regular security audits and updates to ensure that they remain secure against evolving threats. By understanding the unique risks associated with each type of network, organizations can tailor their security strategies accordingly. Eavesdropping is the unauthorized listening in on communications, often achieved through packet sniffing and traffic analysis. Hackers use tools like sniffers to capture and analyze data packets traveling across a network. Both wired and wireless networks are vulnerable to eavesdropping, though wireless networks are particularly at risk due to the nature of radio signal transmission. Hackers can intercept these signals if they are not adequately encrypted. To counter eavesdropping, organizations should implement strong encryption protocols like TLS for all networks communications. Additionally, using secure communication methods and regularly updating encryption keys can further reduce the risk of eavesdropping. Here's a figure that shows how packet sniffing works. Hijack attacks occur when a hacker takes over an active communication session by intercepting and manipulating the communication stream. This can lead to unauthorized access and control of a session without the user's knowledge. Replay attacks involve capturing network traffic and retransmitting it later to trick a system into granting access or performing an action. These attacks often target authentication packets, allowing hackers to gain access to a system by replaying legitimate credentials. Defenses against these attacks include timestamps to ensure that replay packets are rejected as outdated, as well as employing strong encryption to protect communication sessions from being hijacked. Insertion attacks involve introducing unauthorized content or devices into a secure infrastructure. SQL injection is a common attack where hackers insert malicious code into a web application's database query, potentially gaining access to sensitive information. Cross site scripting allows attackers to insert malicious scripts into web pages viewed by other users. leading to data theft or session hijacking. Rogue device insertion is a physical attack where a hacker installs unauthorized hardware into a network, such as a rogue access point. Defending against insertion attack requires input validation, ensuring that all data entered into a system is properly sanitized and checked for malicious content. Additionally, continuous monitoring and security audits can help detect and prevent these attacks. Here's a figure that shows how an SQL injection attack works. Fragmentation attacks exploit the fragmentation process of IP packets, where large packets are broken down into smaller fragments for transmission. Hackers can manipulate these fragments to bypass security measures, leading to data breaches or denial of service attacks. By sending malformed or fragmented packets, attackers can confuse network devices, causing them to improperly reassemble packets or fail altogether. This can lead to network disruptions or provide an entry point for further attacks. To prevent fragmentation attacks, organizations should ensure that network devices are configured to properly reassemble and filter fragmented packets. Regular updates to network hardware and software can also help defend against known vulnerabilities. A buffer overflow occurs when a program attempts to store more data in a buffer than it can hold, leading to the overflow of data into adjacent memory areas. This can result in an arbitrary code execution or system crashes, making it a powerful tool for hackers. Hackers exploit buffer overflows by injecting malicious code into the overflowed area, gaining control of the system or causing it to crash. Poor programming techniques, such as failing to check the size of input data, are often to blame for these vulnerabilities. Defense programming techniques, such as bounds checking and input validation, are essential to preventing buffer overflows. Developers should also use tools that detect and prevent overflow vulnerabilities during the coding process. Session hijacking occurs when a hacker takes over an authenticated session between a client and a server, allowing them to impersonate the client and gain unauthorized access. This attack often involves eavesdropping on the session to gather necessary details. Spoofing involves falsifying information, such as IP addresses or email headers, to trick users or systems into believing the communication is legitimate. This can lead to unauthorized access, data breaches, or other malicious activities. Man in the middle attack occurs when a hacker intercepts and alters communication between two parties without their knowledge. By acting as a proxy, the attacker can manipulate or eavesdrop on the data being exchanged. Defending against these attacks requires the use of secure communication protocols such as HTTPS and SSL TLS, along with intrusion detection systems that monitor for anomalies. User awareness and education are also critical in preventing spoofing and man in the middle attacks. This is a figure that shows how a man in the middle attack works. Covert channels are hidden, unauthorized communication pathways that hackers use to extrapolate data or communicate secretly within a compromised network. These channels can be difficult to detect because they often operate outside normal communication protocols. Timing channels convey information through the timing of actions, while stored channels use hidden or unexpected storage locations to transmit data. Both types of channels pose significant risks as they allow hackers to bypass traditional security measures. Detecting and defending against covert channels requires continuous monitoring and an analysis of network traffic and system behavior. Advanced security tools can help identify abnormal patterns that may indicate the presence of covert channels. Denial of service and distributed denial of service attacks are designed to disrupt the availability of network services by overwhelming systems with excessive traffic. In a distributed denial of service attack, the traffic comes from multiple compromised systems known as botnets making it more difficult to defend against. Botnets, also referred to as zombie networks, consist of a large number of infected computers that are remotely controlled by an attacker. These botnets can be used to launch massive distributed denial of service attacks, taking down websites, servers, and entire networks, leading to significant financial and reputational damage. Defending against these attacks require a combination of filtering techniques, distributed denial of service mitigators, and redundancy in network design. Upstream filtering, where parent networks filter out malicious traffic before it reaches the target, is an effective strategy. Additionally, having redundant systems and failover mechanisms can help maintain service availability even during an attack. Here's a figure that shows how a distributed of denial of service attack is carried out. Hackers have access to a wide variety of tools, ranging from basic native OS utilities to advanced commercial applications. These tools can be used for various malicious purposes, such as scanning networks, exploiting vulnerabilities, and infiltrating data. To defend against the use of unauthorized tools, organizations should implement whitelisting systems that restrict the execution of non approved software. By only allowing pre approved applications to run, the risk of malware or hacking tools being used within the network is greatly reduced. Continuous monitoring and detection are also crucial in identifying unauthorized suspicious activity. Network administrators should regularly review logs and use intrusion detection systems to spot any potential threats early. Social engineering is the art of manipulating and exploiting human behavior to gain unauthorized access to systems or information. It leverages techniques to deceive individuals into divulging confidential information or performing actions that compromise security. Common social engineering techniques include phishing, which is sending fraudulent emails to trick users into providing sensitive information, pretexting, which is creating a fabricated scenario to obtain information, baiting, which is offering something enticing to lure victims into a trap, and tailgating, which is following someone into a secure area without authorization. The human factor is often the weakest link in security, as people are naturally inclined to trust others and may not recognize manipulation. To defend against social engineering, organizations must focus on employee training and awareness programs. Ensuring that employees are aware of these tactics and know how to respond can significantly reduce the risk of successful social engineering attacks. Also, enforcing strict security policies such as verifying identities and limiting access to sensitive areas can help mitigate these risks posed by social engineering. In this presentation, we have covered a comprehensive range of network security threats, from hacking techniques and internal threats to sophisticated attacks like distributed of denial of service and social engineering. Understanding these threats is essential for any cybersecurity professional, as it enables them to develop effective defense strategies and protect their organizations from potential breaches. Thank you for listening.